Yeah, nah, man. Fam, it's too expensive.
Did you guys actually buy anything for Black Friday? That thing is a scam, man.
Bro,
Black Friday is the biggest scam.
is that today?
Yeah.
I bought some
You
bonnets.
can sit back. You can sit back. It's fine.
You can chill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can chill.
I hate
Just
when I'm watching podcasts and then the audio is shit.
yeah.
Oh, they only just did this.
Do you know them podcasts that someone does an intro, but their mic is not on? So it just sounds like they're doing intro from
For
far away.
themselves, but then nobody can hear them.
You know them ones. You're doing the intro from the car park.
What you?
I'm getting my water, bro.
How you guys, bro?
Yeah.
How's it going? Chilling. Who we got? Oh, should we do the intro? Have you ever started the podcast with the intro in a minute?
You know, like that.
Yeah.
I used to pray for times like this to pod like this.
We'll start with the intro today. Anyways, and you're here. We are charged to the game. We are the podcast with the highest level of analysis that the culture needs. I'm Uncle Jay, but you man can call me Jordan. I'm here with.
You know, it's your girl's favorite voice, Big Didge, nigga with the Midas touch.
And we have no second most light skin on the podcast today, even though you would disagree that he's the second most light skin.
Look, at least we don't have a corny intro today, man.
Dave's catching strays when he's not here to defend
Yeah,
himself.
man.
He's not catching. Who we got here today?
We have Neubri.
Yes, sir. Osaze J Bass, and we're missing our final member, but
Is he the main character? Is that why he just said you
He
man?
thinks-
He likes to think.
Yeah,
he's
that's
the
why he
main
sent you
character.
guys to do the promo. Yeah,
Yeah,
says
yeah,
you know what?
yeah.
I'll show up for the show.
Me-
you man do the promo. You guys do the thing today. How are you guys though? Like to ask that. How's everybody?
Tired.
Are you guys Dubliners or
I live in Dublin.
I live
you
in
grew up in
Navan.
Dublin as well?
Yeah, pretty much.
And
I live in Navan.
oh, that's why you know
Yeah.
she's a
Oh, you're
Dublin
from
now.
Navan?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Where are you from?
Barbergan.
You know them dead ends. No one's really from there, man.
Yeah,
I'm on them. There's some time on the map.
They're-
What you were
Far
kind
to
of there?
reach you guys.
I won't lie.
This guys, man.
It is far to reach you guys.
for real.
You guys
You
are
live
so
in
out of
Navan?
now.
We basically live in Dundalk. Like, so I'm bringing in Dundalk that like this.
He said 1 and 2.
Sometimes when they come from Barbergan, I want to defend it. Then I realize
You don't even
I
live
don't
there.
care, bro. I don't even care like that anymore.
No, you know what?
care.
I find some people are mad. Like they proper like rep where they're from and shit like that.
Yeah.
And I've never understood
Bro,
that.
I was listening to Where's Your Head At this week, and they said, like, Tommy was saying, people were giving him looks. Someone pulled him up at a barber shop saying, I heard George was saying about Blanche.
Bro,
I'm
they
like,
got,
what's going on?
They got put in a diss track.
Yeah. But that'll be flattering.
I mean-
No.
This week.
Bro,
Yeah,
the day that I get name dropping the bar is over.
That would gas me.
Yeah, that's that.
100%.
Yeah,
Bro.
put me in a diss track with gas me, but
Like, you
pull.
took time out of your day to like creatively think of
You-
brands. You went to the studio, you paid.
They said the thing
Someone
was.
mixed it.
You
You
said
know,
it was trash.
how many times how many takes did you take to get it right?
No, I'm
Nah, you have to
He
say
said-
more vim this
No,
time.
there's not no vim in that. They said it was trash. They said it was trash. But you might not been this yet, no?
Not in the track.
no.
Oh, in what way?
So,
Tweets, yeah. Someone was sending tweets for you, man. In a group chat.
I could put money on
Screenshots.
it. I could put
Real
money
tweets.
on it. It's probably because of Asake.
What happened?
Yeah.
What
They,
happened?
they did the live music.
Oh,
Wait,
Yeah.
let's even get started. What are you guys? What's the band name? What is it? Explain.
Well, we are Neubri. We're an instrumental band. We do covers. We play with, original artists and bring new expression, new vibes to their music. So,
pretty much like
Yeah.
every artist has a live band,
Mm-hmm.
so we position ourselves as the live band for
Okay.
Irish artists, but also international artists as well.
how did this come about? How did you start this?
accident.
It was
Accident.
very much accidental.
It's
Yeah.
always accidental.
Very much.
But like, people always say that. But how does this accident
there were
even
steps
happen?
that went into the production of it, but so we've all been musicians. I've been playing
Church, yeah.
playing music in church since I was a kid. Started off with drums, then went to keyboard, and when you started.
I started when I started uni, so 4 years ago.
Why you start that late? Because I understand the church when your parents, your dad, your mom, or your dad, your auntie, someone is telling. Even the aunties in church are telling you.
For the girls.
Oh, was it
I didn't start for the girls. I started for the love of music.
for the love of God?
For the love of God. And then I realized that if you can get a girl.
Yeah.
That's when he took it seriously.
That's when he learned all his 12 keys.
Yeah, why'd you start so late? Because like I said with him, I can understand in church you're encouraged. Because me too, they tried to encourage me. I said it's all right.
Mine was because of church as well. Our
Okay.
church was splitting, and they literally just put a bass in my hands, and they were like playing. I was like, okay. And then the bass player was like, yeah, you can keep it and learn from it from a bit. And yeah, it just started like that, and got into
You
more
think you
like.
can pick up an instrument like that? Someone
Nah,
just plays an
no.
instrument
You know
like
what?
that.
I've come to the conclusion. Or I came to the conclusion years ago. I have zero musical talent.
Have you ever tried?
Yes. And I tried to play the drums. That shit is impossible.
How long did you spend at it? This is interesting.
I didn't have access to drums, so I could only use the drums when I was in church. But my mom is one of those people that church is over, let's go. So I didn't really get that much time, but because I could dance, I thought that I could keep rhythm. Like, it's different. It's absolutely different, bro. Your leg is doing this, your hand is doing. Bro, it's impossible.
I tried the drums. I tried the drums. Same thing as you. My coordination to do it. And it's easy to just get frustrated, especially when you're young. You're like,
And you know what's crazy as well?
Is the worst frustration ever.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy as well? You know what I find impossible? Because I also tried the keys for a while. Bro, people that do the keys and can sing as well, how is your brain doing this? And you're thinking about lyrics. Nah, it's crazy.
So what do you guys do? You play
I play keys.
and
I play bass.
and the third member is on drums then.
Sometimes.
Okay, that's what
When he turns up.
when he turns up. So that's why he's the main character then.
You know that.
He's the so
He's the punching bag for this episode.
Yeah, I would like.
he's the what?
He's the punching bag
For this episode. So when you said something, you said instrument has got you girls.
Let's not go there yet.
Music is spiritual, man. I'm
just-
telling you.
Wait.
I'm just-
No, for sure. We'll get there. But so I think it was before lockdown, before COVID happened. I met him and we had like a jam session because like as a musician, you have jam sessions which are just you come together with other musicians and you just play, you share, just try to pick up new things, play with each other and learn different things. So I invited him.
I was bad.
At least you're honest. Self-awareness is
Bro.
key.
He said, nah, that wasn't it, bro.
Steven
I
was like,
you know, sometimes
you're
like you invite
shit.
someone and then it's like, why did I invite this guy?
yeah.
You know,
But
there's
I
like,
warned you though.
people will be like,
I warned him. I was literally
You're
like,
saying,
I'm bad,
whose
bro.
man's this? You know, like in five side when you invite some five that player that can play ball. Everybody's like, who invited your man?
I invited him.
I was the final pick on the team.
Yeah, but what made you then? If it was bad the first time, how come you then decide to go again or
So it
persist on
wasn't a thing of, I'm inviting these people to form a band. It was just, I want to jam with people. So he came through. He actually told me that, I'm just learning and all that kind of stuff. So
at least you're honest.
I was so honest, bro. And it was a good experience, to be honest. It was like one of my first jam sessions in Dublin, anyway. Yeah, one of my first jam sessions. So it was really like, I went home and I sat down and I was like, yeah, I gotta get better, bro.
as a musician, you have like so many experiences when like, you go out, you see someone that's really good, and it's like your whole world shatters because it's like you have like a lot of like ego deaths because you think that you're the shit, and then you see someone that's miles better than you, and you're like, I don't know anything.
They just
you have to go
humble
and
you.
practice, and you know.
That's good though, because
But
some
you know how-
rappers need that ego death, man.
Do you know?
Some
you
rappers-
have to be self-aware.
Yeah. Some
So
rappers need to
self-aware.
listen to some bars and be like, I'm not doing this enough, and maybe not when to call it quits.
It's weird because you do need that self-awareness, but you also need that delusion of that I'm the best.
It's a balance of both.
Bro.
It's a balance of both.
Yeah, because remember we were talking the last time we were here. You said some people, the ego that gets you there can also be the ego that kills you.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
I think we're talking in like the space of Ronaldo. We're saying like that ego that made him the greatest. It's also that same egos that can tell him like you're not levels anymore. You know, so that it's that having that balance and that self awareness is key. And then how did the drummer come in?
So I've known the drummer. We live in Condokin, so I've known him since he was like really young. He's played drums since he was probably like 2 or something. So I've played with him before I even invited this guy to my church. I've played with him like lots of times, so I knew he was good. And during quarantine, we started like talking and doing some music stuff together. I don't know how the drummer came into the fold. I think
I went to his church
you went to his church.
and I left. I departed.
So this guy's a church hopper. He's a serial church slope.
I just want to get as much experience
Before you decide.
as before.
So you're in the streets of the church.
I'm
Out here flirting with churches and that.
Yeah, you know that one. You know you're dating churches.
Yeah, one
Sunday, trying to see what works best for you. All these different angles.
mean- I'm just trying to focus on myself.
That's what someone in the streets would say.
You know, like
That's
that.
what someone in the streets would say.
Yeah, I knew Michael, and then I don't know. There was a program in your church, and then you invited Michael to play, or I had started going to your church, and you invited Michael to play, and it just gelled really, and then that was good. And then our friend was having a birthday party, and she wanted live music, and she had seen us playing in church, and was like, "Oh, could you do that for my birthday?"
She was like, "Can you do a composer's type set?"
That's
Oh,
when
was
I
she about
saw.
to ask?
Yeah. When I saw the video and they just sent it to me, like, oh, I want. Obviously, the first thing you do is you check the Instagram, and I'm looking. I'm like, this is just composer-esque, but
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
When did you guys decide that, you know what, fuck it, we're going to be a band? Like, we're going to do this?
When she cancelled her party.
So let me tell you what goes into this. Yeah. That was, okay, do a composer's type set. So that means finding the songs, choosing which part of the songs you're going to use, putting it all together in a project, adding different bits of music to it, and all that kind of stuff. For us, like, it was like the first time we did it. So now it would probably take us like a week to do that kind of thing, a 30-minute set. Back then,
2 months.
it took us like 2 months to assemble it. And like, she tells us that, oh, I'm actually just gonna cancel it like a month and a half into the process, and we're just like, we've already done this work, so we might as well just release it.
Oh, okay.
Makes sense.
It was in the process of doing that we're like, all right, we have to come up with a name for the band. So
How did that come about? Why did you come up with that name?
We had different names though. I think our first suggestion was Kill.
Yo, yeah, that
Oh,
was
music in Irish.
that was
you.
that was not me.
I didn't suggest
I
that.
think that was Michael.
Oh, it was the drummer, yeah?
All of that ideas,
I was like,
He's not here to defend himself.
we had a few ideas,
Um,
and then we just kind of settled on Neubri. We settled on Brie, which means like energy expression.
it's the Irish word.
And then we're like,
okay.
okay, that's kind of boring. So we just added the new, changed the W to a U to make it like cool.
See, this is how bad I am Irish. I didn't even recognize that was Irish word.
You didn't see the father.
Yeah.
No,
Do you know how many languages have fathers and shit in it?
I saw the father. I saw the father. I was like, this could be French.
I was like,
Could be Spanish. Could be
Yoruba.
Yoruba.
Like, it could be anything.
Really.
No, but it makes sense though. Like, rep the fact that you're black, you're Irish, and all that kind of shit.
Yeah. And which brings us to this next point, because there's always this talk of the scene and the culture, and like it happens. And I like my thing is we're literally in the process of building it. I don't think it exists yet, but I know Deji, we've had back and forth about this. I don't think it exists yet. We are building it, performing it now. How do you guys position yourself within that? Do you guys feel like, okay, we're also part of this, we're seen enough, we're get recognition within the Black and Irish community?
What do you want to say to
I think we're definitely like building a scene, and I think we're part of it. And I think also individually, like we're also part of it in different ways. Like I gig a lot, Stephen gigs, and Michael. I don't know what Michael does, to be honest. But
I want to meet this Michael guy. I want to meet this Michael guy.
I don't. Michael gigs as well. So,
Yeah.
but it's like we're still getting into that. Like obviously, the Irish music scene has been there for like years, and there's huge stars that have come. So it's a predominantly like white scene, and like even like schools like BIM, where it's mostly white. That's like the Irish music school. There's like predominantly white students, and like you only have a few black people every year out of like hundreds. So it's like we're trying to break into a scene, and we're also trying to show like excellence, and we're also trying to like try a bit harder than everyone else to prove our worth, which is what we need to do now, and I'm all about that. But I think we do deserve our flowers a bit more, like black.
What do you think
musicians.
now? Why do you think now you deserve your flowers a bit more?
I think because we've done stuff that like at the level of gigs we're doing, you wouldn't really see, like the level of production we bring, you wouldn't really see unless there's like labels backing you or like you know, big money behind you. But we're trying to bring that, and we're trying to work with people that are also around our level and trying to like elevate themselves. So
because obviously there was the awards are next week, and there's a category contribution to music, like that is a category. Is there a feeling of like maybe we got slighted because you're saying we're doing things that
I don't think we
I don't think we should even be in the conversation.
I don't think we should be. I don't think we should be in the conversation, and I don't think we should be in the category.
okay.
But there isn't enough of us to make a category. There isn't enough of us that are serious about it to make a category.
Serious about what? Sorry.
Like gigging and like
Being
know,
a
playing
band.
music live. Not even being a band, just individual musicians as well. Like just if you go to like London or go to America, there's like a huge scene. There's like people that do this for a living. But here, like people do it for a living, but they also have another job. Or they just to survive. So it's not the same, but we're getting there.
Yeah, but what's called, that's just because we're still in the infancy of everything. Like, there hasn't been, I don't want to say we haven't created enough value, because I think the value is there. It just hasn't been recognized yet.
Yeah, and the value could be there, and it can also not be enough.
I think
Do you know? No, I'm not saying that's
No,
what
no,
you're
no,
saying, but like I'm saying, it's like saying it's not enough value doesn't mean you're saying there's no value.
No,
Like,
yeah, no. I think the value is there.
Okay.
It just hasn't been recognized, because there's certain people that if you gave, let's say you gave Jafaris a budget of €1 million to put out an album,
Create his best work.
what kind of album do you think we're getting?
Yeah,
do you get what I'm saying? Even
And he said this himself. He did it in a diary he put out. He was like, there's certain things I would like to do, but I just don't have the budget for it. I don't have the money to do it at the level that I want to do it at, or the level that's expected of me. So that's not something that he would say it's untrue.
Exactly. So that's why I feel like even with, like you guys are saying, you try to give high level production and all that kind of stuff with low budget. It doesn't mean that you don't have the talent to give composers levels shows. It's just that, bro,
Limited
is the budget there? And sometimes it's like you kind of have to wait till that one person pops. Then that's when the industry goes, oh, I think there's more like them. Let's go there. Let's go grab it. And I feel like we just haven't had that initial spark that just everything just takes off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because he gave these answers, but you didn't give your kind of take on everything I was asking in terms of like how you see yourself positioned within the Black and Irish scene or the industry and the accolades or the flowers you be getting. Because it's, to be fair, the pandemic 2020, was it when you guys started?
No, we start like this year.
Yeah, it's still pretty early, isn't it? Yeah. But you're doing your first show
We're doing
this year. Yeah. Within 20 months.
That's
10
crazy.
months or
Within
something.
within a year, like, because people might not know, but you guys did live music for Asake, innit?
Yeah, where it's banned for the night.
Yeah, you guys were his band for the night, bro. That's a big deal. How did that even come about?
Bro, even with that, that's why I don't really like think that we got slighted in anything, because like between ourselves, we have the validation that we need to continue, you know.
Yes.
So, but the Ashake thing was crazy as well, because like before that we played with Plantain Papi, we played with Alicia Ray, and they were the only artists that we played with. We done gigs by ourselves, and we're like, we need to still like put out content as well, just to make people know Neubri as well as know Neubri playing for artists as well.
Yeah.
So,
To be your own individual entity
Exactly.
as well as
Build
like,
our
okay,
own
this
brand.
build
Build
your,
our own
no,
buzz.
yeah, we have this conversation basically every week about also building ourselves individually and collectively and bringing our brand. And
Exactly.
you have to be in front of people because, like you're saying, there's so much content out there these days. There's so many. So why would I click on Charger to the Game where these people have been, like, I've already listened to these podcasts, like you're saying, Brilliant Idiots or Flagrant for 2 years, and I know I'm gonna enjoy that. So why am I investing my 2 hours into Charger to the Game now? And that's up to us individually, and like it would be to you guys, like, let me build, let me do this, let me do that. So I get that kind of
Wait, so how did that thing come about?
So like, I think it was kind of like after like a few festivals that happened, and we're like, okay, it's kind of like a slow period. There's not really any gigs. We need to still like be in front of people's faces. So we're just like, all right, we'll just do covers. We'll do maybe like 2 covers every month and stuff like that. So literally, the day that we recorded it, like we created the arrangement for the Palazzo song that we did. Went to the studio, shot 2 videos. Palazzo was one of them, and posted it. In like 5 minutes of it being out, Spinall, who was also on the song, liked the video, and I was just like, "What the hell?"
The internet's crazy.
It was crazy.
Well, we had like, our manager had contacted the promoters that were doing the event to like ask can we play, and they were like no. And then I think it was like 2 weeks later that we came together and made the video for Palazzo, and we released it, and Spinall liked it, and other people liked it.
It got to other people.
Okay.
Like,
Big kind of a big deal, is it?
yeah.
You man's here, yeah.
It was
Big things on the couch over there.
I was just say the no change to a yes.
And then the event manager, they did a U-turn, isn't it?
Yeah.
They just
Sometimes you need to spin the block.
You need to spin the block.
But you know what?
There's no shame in spinning the block. It's business at the end of the day. That kind of way.
You get what I'm saying? Like, because the thing is, like, you guys said you've done all these shows, like Plantain Papi, blah, 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 blah. If I go to the show, like, a lot of people that don't care about musicians aren't going to be like, oh, who's that playing keys? Who's that doing that? Who's that doing that? They're just going to be like, oh, it's Plantain Papi show, innit? And just assume it's Plantain Papi and friends. You get what I'm saying? But until you guys come out and you show, no. We're a brand.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
when you book us, you also put our name on the thing as well. It's not just, oh, I'm just showing up kind of situation.
Exactly.
And then now it's kind of also just, I feel like just, we live in this world where content is king at this point. Like, just throwing out different things will just make you go skyrocket.
And you don't know who's gonna see it, or like you're saying, someone liked it and you have no idea. It's like you're sending it to your group chat. Like,
Bro,
am I seeing this right now?
How would you even see this?
I was geeking because like when you post, like I get like joy from posting content. Like it's fun for me. Like not like the looking at the likes and comments. Just the act of posting it is fun. Like release his energy. So I posted it, put my phone down, I'm looking, put it down, looking, and I'm just like, what the hell, you know?
No,
So-
that's when you have to click the profile. Is this right?
No. My joy
I saw
comes.
this check mark, and I was like,
I was like,
That's how you shoot your shot. Can we play for Ashaki when you come in?
well, at that point, it's just like you have to show people
yeah.
rather than just like
I think-
telling people.
Yeah,
I think us getting the know first, and then like playing one of his songs and them liking it. It feels better than just getting a straight yes.
because
It's like you audition and you
because
I
your
worked for
work
it and
then
I
spoke
got it.
for you. Before you were just
Exactly.
asking, and now you're like saying, okay, it wasn't just the question. My work then let them know that I am. It's like I watch the Kardashians at home, and Kris Jenner says, if someone says no, yeah, trust me. I hate watching them. I watch the hate.
You watch it of like necessity or like you're being forced to watch it.
I tell my wife, oh, you haven't watched this Kardashians in ages, so hoping that she'll put them on, so then I can watch it, and I can
It's a guilty pleasure.
yeah. Oh no.
The one does is you pretend to watch. You're not watching.
Oh, yeah.
Well, reality TV has been a guilty pleasure for me for time because I remember seeing Cardi B on Love and Hip Hop for the first time. Like back then,
Man.
reality TV. We watched the Kardashians early seasons, but I say that to say it's like sometimes when you hear no, it's just maybe you're not asking the right person. Like but then when the right person sees it, they're like, okay, these boys actually. So I like that you said that. It was the work that spoke for you because obviously we do this podcast. I'd like someone to come to us on the back of what we do, not the back of like, oh, you have a bit of clout or something. They just
Also,
see it work. They're
it's
like, okay.
also like they don't know. Like we were the same musicians that asked 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
That made the video. Like there's nothing changed. It's just that we showed them our work.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like as musicians, it's kind of hard to see your work because even if you show me a show, like for Plantain Papi, just use him. It's not the same because I'm hearing Plantain, I'm not hearing you guys.
Yeah.
Unless you're an ear
Unless
that
you're
you know.
listening for it.
Do you get what I'm
I
saying?
will say though, when I went to Burna, I think it was March or April.
March.
Yeah, that was the first time I really listened or felt a live band. In my experience of going to concerts, I've been going to concerts since maybe 2011, but usually it's my genre is rap and hip hop. Usually it's like a DJ, and they have a DJ on set. And Burna had like a live band, and I would say it lifted my experience. I'm going again like next week because that one was so good. So going forward, I was like, yeah. When you go to a lot more of these artists, maybe it's easier. I wouldn't know. Maybe for Afrobeats, it's easier to incorporate live band. Where maybe hip hop doesn't really allow it. So I don't know how you guys see that.
Nah, what's good? I went to when I was a wireless. I saw Dave.
Sometimes Storms do those live bands.
I saw Dave. His band was going crazy.
Yeah.
Like he at one point he just said, "You freestyle, bro." They were going crazy, bro.
What's the next goal now? You guys got Shake on. What's the ceiling? What he's hoping to do within 2023?
2023.
Even before 2023, we're hoping that we smash this.
Well, yeah. When is that again?
So it's next Friday.
It's Friday the 2nd. Where?
At the Sound House.
Sound House.
Is it sold out yet?
It's not sold out yet.
Yeah,
It'll be
so
sold
go
out by the
buy
time
your
this comes
tickets,
out.
Sound House.
Yes,
By the
sir.
time this is coming out,
Where can we find the link? Yeah, it's coming out Monday.
Our Instagram bio.
Neubri Instagram bio. So that's
Eventbrite as well.
Eventbrite, and that's how you guys are closing out the year for this year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, we're gonna
What-
take a break after that because
Taking a break.
we've spent too much time together.
How many practices a week?
Bro, like this week we have 4. Next week we have 3. We've had rehearsals weeks before as well. So
Is it tough working as part of a team? Because you're working with different individuals.
Yes and no.
You're saying your friendship is quite new as well. Like you said you met when during the pandemic,
like 2-3
2 years ago. So how's that dynamic?
It's a learning experience.
Wait, who's
Why do you
the
say
annoying
that?
one? Who's the annoying
Why
one?
do you say it's a learning
I
experience?
think we're all annoying
We
at
all can
times.
be annoying.
Mhm.
Some more than others.
Yeah, no, because we've talked about it on the previous episodes. We've started working together more, and the want to do this at a higher level can create friction. Because when someone is now pulling, like, even if you feel like someone's having a bad week or they're not pulling your weight, it can create some friction amongst people, amongst yourselves, or
Not showing up to interviews.
Not showing up to rehearsals.
bro. If it's me now, you say fed. If it's me, you say fed. So what's happened? Like you guys didn't really answer. So just the dynamic of working together, especially with new friends, because you're learning to be friends, but you're also learning to be business partners. That must be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy because like your personality really comes out as well in moments where like there's pressure or you need to get things done. So for me, I'm like I always want to be like on top of everything. I want to be prepared prepare.
Yes.
I want us to avoid situations where we have to rush.
That-
I hate.
I'm pretty much like
I'm
that.
able to work in situations like that, but I prefer
Not to, yeah.
That's
I rather,
me.
yeah, that's me.
I'm the opposite. When it's crunch time, that's when if I don't feel pressure, fuck it, I'm never starting.
We want guests to come on in December, yeah, and we haven't booked any yet. I'm anxious because they're gonna book things last minute, and I'm like, bro, what? My schedule is booked. I know guests come on a month in advance. I'll tell them. I said, this is the schedule. This is what's coming on. Put this on your calendar now. Yeah. And I give them the dates. I'm like, you guys good for these dates here? Because I don't want anyone to tell me I'm out the country.
Bro, I don't even check. I just say yeah.
He's my
and then and then he's like, oh, because like I don't know, for some reason my brain has been a week behind. So he was like, oh,
Are you good for Friday?
Are you good for Friday? Yeah. I was like, what's Friday?
I was like, these boys are coming. And he's the one communicating with you guys. I'm like, bro, you're the one in communication with them. But yeah. Bro, that's me. Honestly, that's me because I think it's just grown up. Like I always say this because my dad always told me, he's like, why don't you just study in the morning, get it out the way, and have the rest of your day? That's my dad. He put that in my head. It's like, just do it, get out the way, and you don't have to think about it again. Yeah. So then I apply that to real life. I'm like, if we want you guys on, I'll say, Deji, when can you do it? I'll get you on. Even if I have to book you a month in advance, they're there. But in December so far, we're trying to get people on and we haven't booked them. I get a bit anxious. I'm like, book these guys, man.
For you guys, like getting the axe.
It's actually one thing I will say, and I wanted to say this, like I was going to say this on public with you guys, like when people say there's no support in Ireland, it kind of like fugazes that theory. Because people have been so helpful and so like, okay, yeah, we'll come on your podcast. Of course we'll do it. Like, shout out to Tommy who did the last episode with us. He came on here and everything went wrong. Like, the laptop wasn't working, the cameras wasn't working.
Bro.
And you feel guilty because you're wasting people's time.
Yeah.
And then we booked him again and I had to cancel on him because of a funeral.
Nah, even before that, he was like, we can just run it back.
Yeah,
right
he
now.
said we can run it back.
And I was like, bro, even me, I want to go home.
Yeah. Like, so shout out to him, and it kind of like doing this. I know people will look at their numbers and be like, oh, we don't get the support. I look at my interactions with the people I want to come on and people I want to fuck with, and that interaction for the most part has been nothing but positive. In my face. Obviously, you don't know what people are saying behind closed doors.
But also, you know what? I feel like sometimes people, when they say, oh, there's no support, maybe what you're telling them support just isn't good enough. Because there hasn't been a time where, like that. Bro, there hasn't been a time where, like, I don't feel like there has been support in anything that I've done. Do you get what I'm saying?
There has been no support.
There's been, no support. There's only been one time that I'm kind of, but I feel like the support was there. I feel like I just didn't go about it the right way. I was setting up Yoruba classes, whatever, like 40 people signed up. When it come time to pay, nobody wanted to pay. But like, I feel like it's just because I didn't give them anything to want them to put their money down for. But apart from that, bro, retweets, likes people signed up.
Coming on, come to this podcast, share this. I found it like this year, especially because we've taken it a lot more serious. Maybe in the last 6 months, you were saying like when you came in, I don't know if this podcast should be about you guys, but it's like in terms of that.
Putting it on you.
Yeah. But in terms of that, it's actually been nothing but supportive too, and we can only say based on our experiences of what we know. Obviously, people can be saying whatever, say fuck them, charge it to guys behind closed doors. We don't know that. So, but how are you guys finding that in terms of like support and within the place?
People, like the people close to us, are supporting, even though they don't fully understand what we do, and I think that helps a lot when we're like, or when I'm feeling like, why are we doing this? Like this is a lot of work. And then there's just some random person that's like, I love this video, or like, can I come to rehearsal?
That is the
one
kick,
time?
isn't it?
Or like,
there was a week I was actually fed up. I was like, this, and then someone sent a message. Was shout out Tolu from Pre-Drinks. He sent a message to my page, and it was like I needed to see that because I can't remember. There was a bit of frustration amongst us. And then he sent that message like, you guys keep doing this, better not stop, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, sometimes that's what you need. And my brother flying back for the live show. And then over the weekend, he's like, oh, Jordan, he texts me, he's like, oh, Jordan, I'm going to see Peter Crouch's podcast because I came to yours and it was really enjoyable. So now I'm just going to go to more live podcasts. And little things like that, it's like, oh, okay. Like the impact I had on one person. It's like, oh, you enjoyed my show. I was like, Peter Crouch? I didn't even know Peter Crouch had a podcast. Yeah. But now you're going to see Peter Crouch's podcast because you enjoyed mine. So it's stuff like that.
We have a lot of support. Like, I'm even surprised at how far we've come. All the people that like have interacted with our stuff, that have bought tickets as well. Like, people that have bought tickets, I don't even know who they are, but they're buying tickets to see us.
And they don't even know some don't know what we're gonna do. They don't even know what to expect.
That's what I was gonna ask. What should we expect from this show?
Good things.
Expect like an experience for sure.
How do you pick? How do you come up with a set list? Because essentially you're doing the job of a DJ in having to come up with a set list.
That's the approach we had before, but I think we're trying to like change it now to not have because we're not trying to be DJs, because DJs will play songs to make you dance or play songs to get your blood hot. We're not trying to do that. We're trying to like give you a movie. We're trying to give you highs, trying to give you lows, trying to make you like be like, yo, that was crazy. Not that like you're like, oh, my feet are tired, I was dancing so much. But like you can go to any club night and get that. We're trying to give you something else, something like amazing, something like you want to come back for more, something you can't get everywhere else.
I hear it, because we always say that you have to create. Because when we did Who's the Main Character, and shout out to Kenny for putting it together, and because he was coming to us, and I was like, look, listen, for the most part, nobody really wants us to just go on stage and each of us talk for 30 minutes and do a podcast in front of them. First of all, baby people don't know us, and we want them to come back next year and want them. It's an age of social media. When they snap it, people see like the next one I'm gonna go to. So we want to create an experience. So he put in like musicians, he put in comedy acts, he put in podcasts, and amongst ourselves, I was like, we gotta keep it's TikTok generation, you know. We gotta keep it short and sweet. We gotta do what we do best. We do our intro and we do what you charged to the game this week, and people be like, oh man, that was great. So I like giving you obviously follow Andrew Schultz. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
he says his comedy shows, he wants them to be shows. You're not just coming to watch a comedian.
Feel like, how does he say it? Like they paid too little for what he gave.
Yes, exactly. So when they're paying for the babysitter next time, or like when I want to come next time, and I'm like, nah, that was so sick. Like I'll when you guys are on again, I'll shift stuff. I was like, nah, I gotta move this. The recording has to be on this stage.
You literally just said that with Burner as well. Like it's like that last show was so sick that
this one I had to be like, we gotta go back to back this time.
How'd you pick?
Yeah, we didn't answer your question.
yeah. How'd you pick the songs? Yeah.
It kind of depends. Like it depends on what we're going for. Like what the theme of the set is. If it's an Afrobeat set, are we just going for high energy? Are we going for? Or are we gonna start slow? We're gonna build it. Are we gonna take them here? Are we gonna take them there? You know.
Sometimes you could have like an amazing song, and it just doesn't come right after the song before.
Yeah.
And you just can't use it. Yeah. And it's like, like we're also all creatives, because like we all have different ideas, and it's like which idea is best, and sometimes you just have to hash it out. And
that's also a good question in terms of creative process. And we had Dami on the podcast the last week, and she was talking about conflict resolution. Like you're saying, everybody's a creative, and things about creative people have ideas and they want it to come through. How do you navigate that if you have ideas and there's conflict and there's different interests?
That's a good one. For me,
I do this, Deji.
I do this. For me, like at first it used to be, I think my ideas are the best just because they're my ideas.
Yeah.
You know,
bro, I'm saying, I'm always right.
How are we gonna go with someone else?
You know like that.
For real. But then it's like, okay, what's the best idea for what we're going for? And it might not always be your idea. So like, you have to take yourself out of the situation and be like, okay, this is an idea. Isolate them both. Take yourself out of it. Which one actually works? So
how do you guys deal with that? That's how you deal with it. Is it the same with your boys? Are they the same?
I feel
same
like
process.
We were able to like understand that.
If we can't like agree on the rationale behind an idea, we'll just try all the ideas. But I think the worst thing is when we all have ideas, and like in your heart that none of them are good enough, but there's no time to like. Just let's wait, come up with more ideas. You just have to move on.
Now, I hear that because I was about to say, sometimes the thing we do in a tree, there could be a majority rule. Do you know that makes it, Then you can't be married. So, because sometimes I'm like, maybe if it was a 1v1 kind of thing, two people, you'd be like, nah, this is that.
I've been in that situation, bro. Me and my boy, like this guy, I've known him from young, primary school. We started a business together. there was times where we're sitting across the table and it's like, I want to go this way, he wants to go this way. He's stubborn, and the thing is, I'm usually not stubborn if it's something I don't give a fuck about. But if I care, I will die on that line.
Yeah.
And he's the same.
Yeah.
Literally, there was one time I was on the phone. We're doing it this way. We're doing it this way. He said, "Nah, we're not." I just hung up. there was no resolution.
That's the common resolution.
Bro,
We're not gonna talk anymore.
We can wait. Just wait.
Those situations are so toxic.
Yeah.
because the thing is, you don't know in that situation, you don't know whose idea to go with, because it's kind of like I 100% I can feel in every fiber of my body that this is gonna work, and he feels the exact same about something completely different, and I'm just like,
And then there's just that silence.
Yeah, it's like who's gonna concede? It's not gonna be.
It's not me, bro.
Yeah, because even on the name Charger to the Game, I felt like it was a bit bait. Like everybody says Charger to the Game, and I felt like it was a momentary thing that people are not going to say this phrase anymore.
Yeah.
But Deji and Dave were like, we're sold. Then what can you do? What can you? I was like,
can't do anything.
yeah, I was like,
You have to accept it.
Charger to the Game. I was like, is that saying even gonna really last? I hear it now. It's a Charger, but after a while, people was like, those are the Charger boys. I'm like, I guess it works. I guess it works.
You're gonna try to the game in life.
In life, yeah, and I think that's Deji's life. I think that's why he resonated with the thing. He's always something to try.
bro, man.
He's calm,
You know,
nice vibe.
genuinely. Sometimes I actually just look at my life and it's like, is everyone else's life just like, bro? Because you know, sometimes I'd be like, oh, this happened, and then I'm like, this person probably thinks I'm lying. Like, is it everything that must happen to me?
To make myself sound cool.
Nah,
But
man.
you guys have like different roles because obviously it's apart from the instrument. Because I always tell people coming in and to record is actually probably the easy part of doing a podcast. Like this is the fun part. This is what we enjoy doing. We come in and we press record the cameras, and then the second part I enjoy is actually releasing it and seeing people take it in and enjoy it. The nitty gritty part, the admins, the social.
People don't see the
editing,
in-between.
Do you guys have different roles? How to navigate all of that?
It's funny because that actually kind of translates to what we do.
Yeah.
So like, let's say we're putting together a song that we're gonna do in a different way. The creative part of what ideas are we gonna bring to the table, and how we're gonna do it, how we're gonna track it, and stuff like that. And then there's like the technical stuff of like sound design. What sound are we gonna use? How are we gonna treat the sound so it comes out in a proper way? All that kind of stuff. How are we gonna like arrange everything and stuff like that?
And you guys decided together as a specific person in the group.
We sometimes do it together, and I specialize in like.
I love that. I love that because it's still self-awareness. Because who's really a specialist in life?
Oh no, I've come to the conclusion. You just have to say you are.
I'm like,
Everybody's guessing.
I'm the best at
everybody's
it. Out of all of us, I'm the best at it. It's just
Okay.
keeping shit like organized on the projects, because we use like a software called Logic, and we also use Ableton, and just making sure like everything is at the right level when it comes out. Everything is named so that if it needs to be changed, because sometimes he'll name stuff
I don't do anything.
and I'll be like,
I'm messy.
Me and you are very alike. When it comes to the technical side and everything,
Leave me out. Let me just give you ideas.
like
He'll-
I will do the admin, I'll organize, but when it comes to actually the nitty gritty
Let someone
technical,
else do that one.
please.
yeah. But I like doing it, so it's like, it's good. And if I didn't like doing it, then I think we wouldn't have
Actually,
survived.
thank God that he likes doing it. 'cause
You have
that
to.
shit.
No, that's so true because you have to. The person has to enjoy the role anyways because those, like I always tell people, for the most part nobody's paying us to do this yet. We're not doing it for a living. We're doing it because we enjoy doing it and it's our passion project essentially.
Yeah.
He said we get money.
This is what.
When we get paid like that, yeah. So it's good
Don't
to find
think I'll do
someone
this
that's
for
like
free,
saying, I enjoy doing that, so that you don't feel bad giving it to them. Say, yeah, you enjoy doing it.
Well, yeah, I'll give you more. So
Take this side, take this side. What happens if someone's not pulling their weight? Do you guys have to call them up?
I won't lie. Sometimes you just have to just be like, stand there. Don't say anything. You just let it out.
While we're doing this,
Bro.
You just leave them there and they do it.
well, you put them in timeout.
just stay there, like.
Just,
Because I was telling Deji, like sometimes like you gotta let the ship sink. Because when it starts sinking down, people start
But that's the
realizing,
thing,
like, oh
I'm
man,
not the type of person that will let the ship sink,
I need
even
a
if
mind.
it pains me.
Bro, that's me. Like
It pains me.
I have this thing where if even detrimental to the point, like let's say if I focus on and I make them upset, I'm obviously the person that made them upset, but I'm trying to fix it.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't fix it. You were the one who made them upset. Leave them alone. So even when it comes to like letting the ship sink, if it's something I care about, I have this Captain Save a whole complex. I need to save that.
I need to save that hole. No, because that's the part, like the one part I found interesting in doing this and trying to do it serious and doing it at a higher level than we were. It's the dealing with each other, and not in a negative way, because like I said, this part is a fun part. But we have different roles, and you have to navigate personalities, and you have to, like, it's like mind management in a way, because you know this person likes to be talked to this way, or if you talk to him that way, they're not gonna react to it, they're not gonna take it in. So if you just come and start shouting, if like Deji just starts shouting at me, I'll just be like, it's not happening. Like, it's not. But if he says to you, "Yo, Jordan, you did the clips this way, you could have done it that way. Next time, just take away that sound." It's calm. But if you come. Like, you know, that kind of way, like, so
sometimes you need
that
to
part
be
is
like
difficult.
self-aware of like how you're coming across, or even what you're doing. Like sometimes it's like, I'm saying this to someone, but like, am I saying it in a way that's gonna get true to them, or in a way that's gonna antagonize them?
But what happens if you say it like multiple times and it's not getting true? You just start shouting, because the African side will start coming out. I'll just start shouting.
I have to get physical then.
I was gonna ask, has there been a situation, because obviously, like you said, musical frustration is the worst. You guys you're in rehearsals, you've been rehearsing for 4 or 5 hours already, it's getting late, 11, 12 a.m, you go work in the morning, and one person is just fucking up the same part. It's the same part of every song.
You're downloading from God.
Bro, I don't know where I get to this, boy.
At what point you just turn around and like, brother, fucking fix up.
You just be like, let's go home, we come back. It's not working anymore. It's not working anymore.
It's like, when it's you, like, if it's me, I'll be like, I'll just try and do my thing, make sure I'm, you know, hitting the notes when I have to hit them. But if someone else, and you can see that it's just repetitive, you're not getting, I would just vex, but I'll try and not show on my face. I'm just like, why are we here? Like, why are we here? Like, what's the point? You know?
He's not trying very hard.
And that's the thing, yeah. The more time you spend with people, the more you can read their energies. Like, it's like when our parents when we used to walk around the hand and we're sulking, and our mom's like, "What's wrong?" So nothing. It's like, bruv, you're sulking.
They know.
I can see you're sulking.
Bro, it's just like you come in the room, you see a girl. Sometimes you don't even see her face. You just
the energy
feels wrong. What's wrong? Nothing. We've been doing this for 10 years. I know.
Literally, you feel it. Like, either if I walk in or my girl walks in from work, just the minute she walks in, I know what energy's there. I can feel the energy straight away. Like, it doesn't. So, but what happens then? You just
work through it. Sometimes, like, there's times when I think it was recently we had a rehearsal. We were just when we were
before we came here.
When we're in Outline, shout out to Outline Studios.
Yes, sir.
We were like all just feeling lethargic, basically, and it was just like the ideas weren't coming, and we're just playing through it and going through it, and it's just like sometimes you just have to go through it and
I get that. Sometimes it's literally. Because if you're rehearsing 3-4 times a week, sometimes people are just tired and it's fatigue, and you actually need the best option is to just go home and run it back the next day.
Because we have jobs.
People are probably have the stress of their partner, stress of their job, stress, and they're bringing it here. And sometimes, like, I watch a lot of like sports and UFC, and they say sometimes the rest day is actually the most important day. Just not forcing that day to train and just saying like, let's just go home instead of wasting 2 hours here forcing this. You just come back the next day and you probably be better off for it.
That's the thing. Even when you go to the gym, like you beat yourself down in the gym.
Yeah.
The rest day is when you actually rebuild and build muscles. So like you need rest.
That's actually a good point, because even when you go to the gym and you're telling yourself, I've gone every day for the last 3 weeks or whatever, and your body's just not feeling it and you're forcing it, that's just you. It's got ego lifted, isn't it? You're just going just to tell yourself, I'm like, I've gone to the gym 5 times this week.
Yeah, but do you ever feel like sometimes let's just scrap and then let's get it out and then we'll get back to
That's the thing. Not everyone is able to scrap and come back on the other side in a good way. Like I can go at it with you, and then last like we'll make up. But not everyone is able to do that.
I'll hold a grudge. I'll hold a grudge for a solid 2 weeks. we'll have resolved it, and like we both apologize for where we went wrong.
You
But
ever have to show up when
I
you're pissed
just
off at your
in my mind's
friend.
eye, I'll just see you for 2 weeks, and then after.
Wait, why 2 weeks?
That's how long my heart takes to heal.
10 working days.
Yeah.
Well, it's true because I've ever showed up because I remember I was listening to Taser. He said sometimes he showed up to podcast and he's like, "Fuck that guy, man." But he has to show up.
I remember that.
Yeah, but he has to show up because it's you have to be you have professionalism in it. You'll still show up to your 9 to 5 even if your boss pissed you off the day before. So do you ever have to show up to a rehearsal and be like, "That guy pissed me off yesterday, but I gotta go
And
back
that's
to
the
that place."
reality of things. People think that it's just gonna be fun, nice, and all. Even at work, like you don't like everyone at work. So it's the same thing with your passion, what you're trying to do. So
And sometimes it's not even that I don't like certain people in certain situations. Like you know how sometimes it's like when the pressure is on, I know I don't like him because the way he's gonna be when the pressure is
When
on,
he reacts to pressure,
leave me alone.
So, and that's why I avoid the pressure being on as much as possible. It's not like I can't work under
Because
it
you're
because
managing.
who I might become under that pressure, there might be a different version of
Yeah.
me, and I'm like, look, let me just deal with this now. So even if there's pressure later, it's small pressure.
Yeah.
Because if we don't do anything, now it's the week off. We have like,
Now
when
the
we're recording.
dickhead.
Now I start shouting at you guys.
I feel like because we even on the last episode, I feel like I try so hard to not come across as a dickhead because I know how easy it is for me to come across as a dickhead. And sometimes the thing is like even in like this has been a problem I've had in life just in general where I'll say things to people and they'll be like, "Did you come on? You shouldn't have said that to that person." And I'm even joking these times. Let alone if I start being serious now and it's gonna like people start taking shit seriously. People start holding grudges. Have you guys had a situation where one of you has held a grudge against the other and it's like, brother, you're fucking up the flow, like you're fucking up the energy of the show.
Because you guys, it's only 2 years, isn't it? So it's relatively.
2 years.
Of you guys doing Newbury?
No,
this year.
A year. That's relatively
January
new.
2022.
And you guys weren't like friends before either, like
We
your
weren't
boys.
super close, but we're cool. Like,
Yeah. Because sometimes of like doing it. That's what sometimes they say maybe don't do business with your friends. Because I'm like, these guys were becoming more friends as through the podcast. We actually become more friends. But initially, sometimes like, how do I navigate to talk to these people? Now I know Deji and I we can have more honest conversations because we know how to talk to each other. Do you know that kind of way? But initially, maybe the first year in, it's kind of like, how do I tell this guy?
Oh yeah, I tiptoe around everything, bro. Fam, oh no, like I was like, it'd be okay if you did that.
You're more on the side of caution as opposed to like doing too much and then coming back.
Because like you said, some people, we're talking about like fisting. Some people might not come back from that. Some people might not come back from words. The way you might talk to someone or the way you might make them feel just by how you said certain things. For them, they're holding a grudge for 2 weeks based on what
2
you
weeks
said.
turns into 2 months. 2 months turned into we're not doing this shit again.
Well, yeah. Well, what do you mind charging to the game about this live show? What has been, because obviously you're planning, you're trying. So what is something that you guys are charging to the game regarding this live show?
even just last night. Yesterday I had 2 different rehearsals, and I think we started at like 6. I left my house at like 4 or 5 to go and get key for a studio or go and get clothes, something for the show. Yeah, did the first rehearsal, huge setup, take down, go to the next rehearsal. That rehearsal runs to like 3:30 in the morning, and then I have 9 a.m. stuff for college, and it's just like,
Yeah, you gotta charge that to the game.
yeah,
That's why the love and enjoyment has to come into doing all of this, because to be up till 3 a.m. I know me, I'll just be irritated. I just hate being out past midnight. So to be up till 3
What do you
a.m.
mean midnight? This guy, he's been back past 10:30.
Yeah.
Half 10,
Oh.
half 10, and he's like,
Why is that?
I there's a level of first. I used to be fine, but first now it's like there's a level of anxiety I feel being outside more, and like even being in environments with a lot, because doing this podcast thing, there's a lot of people I'm around that I don't know and I'm not comfortable. And before I used to be fine, being young, you just go to parties, go to the club. But the older I get, there's also like situation that hasn't helped. Like I'm like on watch. I'm looking around. I'm like, what's gonna happen?
Have you pissed people off?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. But I just
It's
recently,
just general.
yeah, just general anxiety for being around people I don't know. That's
I also feel like
yeah,
it's
I
just
get
being out there more as well.
yeah,
Like,
and
like-
people know you and they walk up to you, like someone walk up to you and says like, "Oh, you're in my ear too," because when people are walking up to you, you don't know what the intentions they're coming with. So, "Oh, you're in my ear too for 2 hours." last week, like I told you about Raise Your Head at Tommy's at a barber's and someone saying like, oh, I heard what you're saying about Blanche.
Yeah.
Those kind of things, I'm like, I don't want to go out and have to defend something I said in jest.
And you know, sometimes I don't remember that. I don't remember what I said last week. So don't ask me.
Yeah. So that maybe I'm also old. Just, I just want
You're not old, bro. You're 29. Relax.
How old? You're 29.
You're 29.
28, 27.
27.
That's old.
How old are you?
How old are you?
Shut up, man. This guy is like 21. And
I'm 22.
Anyone that's 24 and over, like,
Yeah, but this is the thing. He's only 2 years away.
He's the type of people eBay hates. He's the one that's you call a 24-year-old uncle, innit?
Oh yeah.
Violating, yeah. You're not doing it out of respect. You're violating.
No.
He said, "Jump to get your walking stick." Oh, I was gonna ask you. All right, obviously, because like you do covers of songs and stuff like that, right? And not always. There's not just like fucking music sheets of the songs. Can you guys play by ear?
Yeah. So like, I'll give you this. Like most black church musicians all play by ear. Like it's just the way they teach you. And like in church, like no one has written out all of the notes for every song. Like it's just by ear that you learn it and you play it. So yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, what are you charging to the game about this show though?
Oh, you asked a different question.
Sorry.
So for me, the first set that we're doing is around 30 minutes, and I put that together mainly by myself in like a few days, and that was like the most painful few days of my existence recently.
Yeah.
What happens if you put that together and you present it to your boys and said, nah, this ain't it?
Bro, I have to work on it. I
I
have
was
to work
so
on it for
scared
5
for
days.
bro, because I did that. I didn't do that, but I did like attempt at that, and the boys didn't like it. And in my head, outwardly, I was like, all right, that's calm. We'll figure something out. But inside, I was like dying, bro. I was like, I sat at this computer for 6 hours.
Bro, I put my soul into this shit.
And you're telling me you don't like it?
But that's why they say musicians are like just creatives in general are just mad emotional.
Yes.
Bro,
Oh, yeah.
I remember one time I made a clip. I was like, oh, this clip's fire, blah 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 blah. These niggas came in the group chat and said, yo, so we're gonna cut that in half.
Oh, you're cutting my
Bro,
heart.
and you know the worst part about it, yeah?
I posted it in 2 parts.
Because I stayed up late. I did it. I was like, oh, yeah, calm. It's gonna be doing thing. I saw it went up, and I hadn't read the group chat at this point. I watched it. I was like, where's the rest of it? I went to the group chat. I was like, brother, where's the rest? And then I read up, cut it in half. For 5 seconds. And the thing is, because I already knew at this point that I was avoided, so I just had to say, yeah, charge it.
At that point, literally, like, okay, so I did the whole set. Like, there's parts of it when we're in rehearsal, and him and the drummer were like, oh yeah, we don't need this song, so we're just gonna take it out. I was like, are you sure we don't need this song?
Like, I put that there for a reason.
Like, I did the transition.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why, like, they always say, because I see musicians and they take their criticism more too hard. Maybe it's because, like you're saying, it's an expression of me. Like, maybe not you guys directly, but I'm talking about musicians in general. It's an expression of me and it's an expression of who I am. Whereas, it's me doing podcasts, I'm just giving an opinion on pop culture and society. So if I come here and give an opinion and say, oh, Ronaldo's finished, and someone said, that Jordan guy's talking shit. Yeah. Like, I don't care. But where if I sit and I write a song, put my heart and soul, create a beat, go to the studio, rap about it. I'm telling you guys, this is an expression
Bro,
of me.
I'm pouring my heartbreak onto the
And
thing.
someone
I says, that
I can understand where it's been.
That's the thing, but you also have to like maintain the whole thing of like, yo, like take yourself out of it.
Yeah,
objectively, does this work?
Yeah.
So.
Learning to, the one thing I've learned just like over the last year is learning to know when it's your ego talking. Knowing, like, I didn't know, I wasn't good at that baby before. Over the last year or so, especially like when I moved there with like Sibi, knowing that like, okay, this is just my ego. Like, this makes no difference. I just feel this week, like they just saying about the clip. It's knowing that like, okay, this is just my ego. The little things like we want to call it charges to the games. That's gonna be. That's just your ego. Like what the name of the podcast is doesn't really matter that much if the product is good in the first place. People remember the name based on the product. People not call it charge because what we've done. It doesn't really matter. So that's one thing I've kind of learned how to navigate over the last year. It's like knowing that like it's just your ego.
It takes so much self-awareness
Yeah.
to be able to identify that though, and a lot of people don't have that. They're not going to do the work to have that. So
Do you guys feel like you know? How can I even ask this question?
Yeah.
How does it feel having control over a crowd's emotions?
It feels amazing.
when you're
know
in
what?
that pocket,
Bro, do you know, we had a show in Cork. Unfortunately, Stephen was indisposed. But I just have to let them know. It was a
I
long
want to be
drive.
Stephen, man. No, it's Michael that's missing.
Michael, yeah.
Stephen.
And there was like a point towards the end, like everything was going great. And I just stopped. I look at the crowd and it's like, they're all just like having a good time. And I'm also having a good time. And I like feel like we've connected. And it just, I just got
also true.
emotional.
You probably do feel like the music you're playing and the music they're taking in, that is a connection, essentially.
Bro, I don't know these people's names,
Yeah,
but they're
yeah,
coming
yeah.
up to me after the show like, thank you so much. Like,
I had such a good time.
yeah, blah, blah. I'm
I
like,
always tell, not always tell Dej, but I've told Dej before, it's like, it's the feeling you give people that they remember. They don't, people don't really remember what you do for them, because you could be at work, to be the best employer, the best person to work, and if you don't make people laugh at work, they don't care. But the guy that doesn't do work as good, but the feeling he gives people in the office, because he makes people feel good. And obviously you guys played in the church. I grew up going to church every Sunday. Sometimes when the choir are in that pocket, you don't even want the pastor to come.
what message do we need?
Do you know that was?
Because the thing is, the pastor could be saying something, but then you know when, I don't know if there's a signal that they give. Someone that was on keys just and then all of a sudden now there's tears coming, shit's happening. I'm like,
Yo,
without this background music, it didn't slap the same. But with this little
Music,
You're shifting the atmosphere. Like church is like a really good place for you to hone that, because like it's literally like people are trying to like channel the spirit. So like you have to be intentional with what you're playing, the sounds, the pads, the strings, like the notes that you're playing, listening to where the pastor is going, the choir, like it's very intentional. So if you're a musician, you're learning that from church.
you need to learn how to read the room.
Yeah.
That is key skill as a musician. Doesn't matter what you practice. It matters what you practice, but it doesn't matter what you practice. Read the room, bro. If you need to give more, give more. If you don't. Like,
Well, how
it
does
applies
feel?
to everything.
I'm intrigued now because I went to church and I was like, when the choir is, and then because the way our church works, like it worked anyways. The choir would do their thing and then the pastor will come up and preach. But sometimes when you're in that zone, you're in that pocket, and then the pastor's walking up to the altar, isn't it like
you look at him like, brother.
Well,
right now.
the one thing about my pastor is he reads the room.
Yeah.
If he knows in that moment this is what's happening and this is what's like has the room going, he lets it go. But I've also met pastors that'll come and like they'll shut it down, and you feel like it's premature.
Yeah, but
you're like you just killed the vibes. Maybe.
You know that like I always say, music is the one thing that like I'm really annoyed I didn't have any music talent, because music is the one thing like music is mad spiritual, man. Like bro, like you could just start playing keys and someone's crying. Have you made someone cry just off music?
Bro, like I'll just be chilling. I'm just playing something that is just,
What was the question at the start?
Feel it in your
What was his
soul,
question
man.
at the start?
This question at the start.
Using music to
Bro,
Let's speak on this. You're an instrumentalist in church. I'm sure
they
that has
always
worked.
say the instrumentalists are the worst.
why do we call
I
it?
don't
And to be fair, you're a good looking guy. I see you, tall. built,
Nigga goes to the gym, you can
Goes
see.
to the- I see you. Your camera's there.
Bro, I'm done.
Over there, bro. That must have came to, because we've had KD on the pod, and KD was saying that's why he was scoring the goals. That's why he was scoring the buckets.
I
So
wasn't doing that kind of stuff.
Katie's.
In
no?
church.
Not in church, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You met them outside,
Outside of church.
but because of the musical
Kappa.
instrument.
No, not even. So like I didn't even really try and use music to get girls. Like I would say the first time that I knew that I could use music to get girls was when I was like 17 or something.
What bar did you use?
I didn't
No, what song did you use? What notes?
Together.
What? B sharp in that.
I got musical talent.
Musicians, be sharp.
Bro. Good. Yeah.
That's so funny. I don't know how funny that is.
And you know, one note down, he's so close, bro.
This is inside music joke.
Oh,
Not on the side right
don't
now.
worry about
But
it.
yeah,
I can read music though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can actually read music. Yeah.
Treble clef and all.
Yeah, stop that, man. All that.
Did you play recorder in like primary school or something?
Secondary school.
didn't everybody?
Yeah.
Primary
No,
school.
I actually had to do it for like music. I had to do music class.
Oh yeah.
Wait, you did music class?
Yeah, it wasn't by choice.
Why? Your mom.
No, what's called? So pretty much, I actually didn't get accepted into. I didn't get accepted into Pats at first, right? Then I got accepted into
Oh,
Pats.
you went to Pats?
Yeah, they only let three niggas in every year. I didn't get accepted in that year, whatever. So my mom went to the other school that they accepted me in, and they thought, oh, let's bring another black boy. So she sees there's black boys in this school. They brought in a nigga with his ears pierced. My mom said no. She went to the principal. Principal then took me to the other school, and because I missed the entrance exam, whatever, then they just threw me into whatever classes, and yeah, so I ended up having to do music. Then, because it was between music, woodwork, and Latin, so I found someone that I could switch with woodworking, and the teacher just said no. And then I remember standing outside class one time, and I was just annoyed. And this one dude just started laughing at me. And this is the day that I knew that my anger is a bad thing. He just starts laughing at me. And I just grabbed him by the neck. And I just no, a student.
Nigerian accent came out. Teacher.
That would have been the end of that school. But yeah, I just grabbed my neck and started choking him. Then yeah, but that's how I did recorder, and I had to learn recorder.
I choked someone, and then I was playing the recorder.
But I couldn't get out of the class. She wouldn't let me out of the class for some reason.
Crazy.
But yeah, no, yeah.
But what do you, bro? What 17-year-old were you chatting? What bars were
Bro,
you
it
using?
wasn't even like that. So I was at this like local gaff party, right? And there was this girl that was there, but my friend had been like talking to her, like not really talking to her. He'd been hanging out with her and her cousin, because her cousin was the guy that had the house and it was his party. So I went there. It was the first time I met her. We were talking and all that kind of stuff, normal stuff. But he was also talking to her as well, and it was just like
Whoever gets there first, whoever she chooses, isn't it?
Yeah, so whoever she chooses, yeah. So that was happening, and then we were just talking, and the conversation came up that I played piano, and she's like, "Oh, there's a piano in the corridor." I was like, "Oh, for real?" And she's like, "Yeah, we should go."
So you give a bishop.
I give like you flats. No, we just went there, and she was like, "Oh, can you play a song?" And because like you can play by ear, you just hear a song and you're ready to play it. And just playing it, and she literally just stayed there with me the whole night. My friend left with his friend. I was just there chilling. And yeah, that was it.
And then he's like,
I hear that.
I've unlocked the superpower.
Well, can I also ask, like, who's your before we wrap up anything? Who's your musical inspirations? Like, who did you? Obviously, sometimes by church is like by default. You're in church with your parents. Then obviously you probably got into music yourself. When you start getting into playing it, who were you like listening to him? Like, this is why. Because you said there's a lot of ego deaths. You think you're good. You see someone that made you look. You looked at him and was like, I thought I was good, but that guy levels.
Yeah, like in Ireland there's a few musicians that like have been doing it. Like Anderson, he plays keys. Shekinah plays keys. Those were the two guys in Ireland that I was looking at.
Guys.
Don't know what's wrong with you that like, something like this guy. So in Ireland like that, I'm gonna name like proper musicians. So Travis Sales, he's from New York. Corey Henry, obviously Stevie Wonder. I'll just give you that. Those are the people that I like looked at and I'm like, oh, let me just take that. Because you're always like stealing. Pretty much, you're stealing and adding it and like making it your own.
Yeah, but that's with any generation. We have information. You'll be silly not to look at the greats and look at what they did and not take that on board because they're great for a reason. Exactly. And then put your own spin on it. Like every great has an inspiration from somebody, and it's like the Chris Brown needed Michael Jackson, and who's to say? And if you aim for Stevie Wonder, there's a level, even the level below that, still a very high level. So I don't look at it as a stealing. I just look at inspired. That's essentially. What about yourself?
In Ireland, there's not that many bass players, but in Ireland, Kelvin, Solo. Those are the only two in Ireland.
Yeah,
really.
but in overall as well.
Overall, Nana from the Composers, he's crazy. Summer Walker's bass player, he's also her MD, and he kind of like inspired me to like get into like looking at a show from like a holistic point of view and stuff. And James Jamerson probably.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice. Because so now I was gonna say it's like obviously I saw Three Shots. They did the Royal Albert Hall, and the Composers were there opening for them and playing for them. That's something maybe in the future us charge to the game. Newbri,
we
you
have
know.
this relationship now.
Yeah, try to
Yeah.
build it, continue,
Yeah.
because like introduces each other to new audiences and like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
who they, you know, that kind of way.
Good
What kind of
things
music
that
do you guys listen to just on a personal level? Like, because obviously your music that you listen to is what's
Yeah.
gonna.
I'm like R&B, especially during winter. I'm a sad boy music kind of guy.
Cuddle season, you know.
Bro, I love sad music, bro. But I listen to like whatever really sounds good. So like R&B, neo soul, Afro beats, Afro vibes, classical music, movie soundtracks. Yeah, just all that type of stuff. Motown, funk, pop, whatever. Floats my boat, really. Yeah, that's what I listen to.
This year I've really gotten into like R&B, like old school R&B.
Yeah,
so like
that's- this is your bag, man.
Genuine,
Bro, man.
Flow Tree, Mary J. Blige, all those guys. Like,
Yeah, I hear that.
If there was if there was one artist that you guys like could play for, that would be like, you know what,
I've made it.
I've made it.
Well, who's the artist that let you know?
before playing for Ashake, I probably would have said Ashake.
Oh,
To be
That's
honest.
I was
crazy.
like,
But like from this level,
I'm talking about like anybody, bro.
anybody.
alive or dead? Dead or alive?
Dead or
Let's
alive.
let's
should
go
do
dead
that.
or alive.
Yeah.
Let's say dead and alive actually.
Yes.
Who has died?
Question.
It would have to be dead. It has to be MJ because
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
his bass lines are
Jesus.
Oh, you guys
alive.
probably listen to. I forget musicians listen to music different, didn't they?
Oh, 100%.
They listen to
Oh.
bass line.
I remember the day I became like bass conscious. Like music
Yeah.
just changes.
It
for
changed
you,
for
bro.
you, yeah.
It
It
changed.
opens up a whole new world. Like
Yeah.
for me, I'm like I just listen to the music. I listen to the bass. I listen to the drums, keys, pads, everything. But like before, I didn't really listen to lyrics. Like I couldn't really care. So, but then like people started telling me, "Oh, lyrics open up the music." So when I started listening to music, it was like, "Yo, these guys are saying shit on these songs. Like it's
Bro.
crazy."
Fair enough.
But I feel like once your ear gets like that and you start listening to shit, I feel like it low-key ruins music.
You can't. It doesn't ruin music, but you can't turn it off when you're in a bad musical
Yeah,
situation.
yeah.
That's why I say it ruins music. Like when it's good, fantastic, beautiful, orgasmic. When it's bad, I can't. Like everyone else is around, just like, nah, it's cool, it's grand. But you're like,
It changes after someone humbles you. Then you can listen to like the simplest stuff. As long as they're keeping it simple and not trying to do more than they can do, you can appreciate it. But if like you haven't been humbled, then like boring. Like a lot of church musicians love like the complicated, blah 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 blah. So when they listen to like boring, like not CCM music, but CCM music,
White church music.
Okay.
they'll be like, this is dead or this is crap. But it's really not. It's just like, again, read the room. So
Okay.
shut up.
yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't
It's
give
like-
your
it's like-
you didn't give your life.
Hmm?
You didn't give your life.
Oh yeah, alive. Probably Mahalia or Summer Walker.
Summer Walker, I didn't expect that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you tell you fuck with his space. Yeah. Who would you go for,
What
dead
about
or alive?
I'd love to play for Davido.
Okay.
That'd be a fun show.
That'd be.
Yeah, that'd
dope.
David O has good instrumentals as well.
Yeah, he has the composers.
Yeah.
But if I could play for them.
Oh yeah, no, I get you. I get you.
Davido has Neubri.
Yeah. Hit us up, bro.
Yeah. MJ would be sick too. Summer Walker, SZA.
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 He said that for different
You just
reasons.
have to appreciate God's goodness.
Bro.
You know when you
SZA.
can't concentrate at the show. You're
What
just
are we talking about?
This guy will forget whole songs.
what key are we?
Fam.
But then, who was the one person you'd like to do a podcast with?
That's a good question.
Oh shit! Actually, I've never actually thought of that. You know,
Like, it's because you've been doing this and you've
50 Cent, 50 Cent, hands down.
That guy is so smart.
That's
that
my
would be a
goal.
fun podcast.
That is my goal.
My goal is Kanye, but I don't think I want to do a podcast with him.
That was so chaotic.
Yeah, I don't think I want to do
Low key, I would love to. Like the thing is, I actually want to sit down and talk to anybody. Like I wanted to, like I find people interesting. I want to know how your brain works, all that kind of shit. So if I could sit down and talk to Kanye, I would.
No, I
That would be
would,
amazing.
but I don't think it'd be my dream one anymore.
No, it wouldn't be my dream one. No.
No, but
Yours
I think
probably
my
J.
dream
Cole.
one would be. Oh, I love the one with J. Cole. DJ Drogba, J. Cole, and Andrew Schultz. I would love to do like DJ Drogba's like. And Cherry and Reed, they're the reason I love football. I like those young black strikers. Like, I was like, this is me essentially. So I would like to do a podcast with them. ages back in the days.
What position?
I was a striker. That's why Drogba and Henry, when I was 8, watching Henry just do all the world.
Were you playing in?
DDSL just here.
Premier?
Yeah.
Oh, really? What
I was decent. We used to play home farm at Kevin's.
No, those were your teams.
Yeah.
You played for Kevin's?
Yeah, I played for Kevin's at a young age. Young age. Back young. Back young.
I played DDSL Premier as well.
Did you for who?
St. Francis.
So Francis. Yeah.
St. Evans are.
Are Francis still around?
I think they are. They have a big facility in Baltimore.
Do they now? Yeah, fair enough. But no, those are my dream podcast guests. Drogba. Anyone dead? Ooh, that's a good one actually.
Adam.
Who?
Adam and Eve.
Biblical figures count. Biblical figures. That's a good one.
Eve as well.
You know what?
I was like, Eve, why did you eat the apple?
That is the first question I'm asking.
Like, why
That's
did
how
you
we're
do that? Why are you listening to snakes?
You know what? In that case, yeah, man, fuck it. I want to talk to Judas, man. I don't know what.
The Biblical Figure podcast would be great.
No,
you need
actually,
you need Joe Budden to do it.
No, who's the guy that put out the hit on Jesus, man?
Punches.
Yeah, I want to know. I want to know what is it like beefing Jesus?
You had to know it in your heart. It's not right.
Says, when you saw him after doubting you, how did you feel?
Yeah, no, because
Biblical Figure podcast.
There's a few things I want to know. Like, if you're there and my man turns water to wine, I'd be like, did he really, or is it?
Did he put right Peter?
Yeah. No, if this was real life and podcast exists, we would ask him these questions on the podcast.
That's the first thing I'm asking. I'm be like, so Jesus, yeah, you know, like, you're supposed to die in 3 days. Like, are you cool with that? You sure you want to go through it?
How you gonna come back though? Like, how did you do the comeback? Tell me about
Was that the greatest comeback of all time?
Guys, thank you for coming. We gotta
plug the show, please.
Plug the show, please, again.
Sure. December 2nd. Make sure you're there. Off your wigs if you're there.
Okay.
Have a good time.
Yes.
Bring your dancing shoe.
Yeah.
Bring your.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing.
Should people be ready to cry?
Yeah, for sure. We have some moments.
I like that.
But yeah, we have some Irish artists as well. Ashling Moore, Slick Bullet.
Hey, Slick, I grew up with
Escobar.
That's crazy.
You grew up with everybody.
No, Slick's from Barbican.
Oh,
I grew up with his younger brother was like one of my best friends growing up.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that.
We have local Irish artists as well coming through, part of the show as well. So it's gonna be a good night.
That's it. We like it when people put a show. So thank you guys for coming. Like we were saying, as the brand grows, our brand grows for us and for you guys. This is a platform we're all building together. You guys are welcome to come and promote anything, anytime. Just give us a heads up. We'll always organize it. But if you got to the end of the show and you didn't like anything that this man says, well, you can charge it to the game.
Yes,
Thank you for listening.
Yes, sir.
That was an hour 10.